right. All right. Aloha Friday, everybody. Thank you for being with me today and sharing this day with me. Today is going to be a little different. I have a presentation actually today, a recording I had done with a good friend and colleague, Monica Guzman. She is about to kick off what I am labeling as Latino and Latina Leadership Month in the month of May. So thank you for being with me today. Aloha for all of you joining in. Thank you all joining in from LinkedIn, YouTube, Parade Deck, and Facebook, I believe, as well. So thanks for joining me. So what is Latino Latina Leadership Month? Hey, I just took possession of May, and I'm just going to do that along with my partner over on the West Coast, and Frank Carvajal. And we had a live on Wednesday kind of putting this out. But today's episode or today's live is actually a replay of a recording I did on Wednesday. And this is going to basically have be a conversation between me and Monica concerning conquering laziness in your leadership. I will be here in the background as I play this to answer any questions you may have, but I appreciate you taking out the time to be with us today. And without further ado, let's kick off this month of May. I know it's a couple of days early, but that's all right. I'll be here to answer any questions. Enjoy the conversation. It was a very good conversation with Monica, and I thank her for kicking off this month with me. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode. Today, we are speaking with Monica Guzman. Monica is the owner of Excellence by Monica Guzman and is a top international motivational speaker, executive coach, author, and leadership expert. Monica works with well-respected Fortune 500 companies, major universities, and professional organizations. Monica, welcome to the show.
Enrique, thank you so much for having me. It is truly an honor and congratulations on all your success.
Oh, thank you so much. Folks, we're celebrating Latinos and Latinas this month. I couldn't have picked a better person to represent this month and opening it up for us. But we'll be speaking about conquering laziness as a leader. And if you are having trouble in that area, this is the episode for you. Not too many people speak about this subject, Monica, but before we get into that, and we get into all the good stuff, tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you so much again, Enrique. Let me start off by saying that I was born in the beautiful country of Colombia. So I'm really proud of that. Shout out to all the beautiful Latinos and professionals who are embracing excellence in their lives. I've been doing this work now for about 15 years, as you said, as an executive coach, a motivational speaker, and traveling around the world, helping professionals get to the top of their careers. My slogan is good is not good enough, and that's what I do. I help people become stronger leaders, build powerful teams, build their personal brand, and achieve any goal they want to achieve. And as you said, we're here to talk about laziness because it's something that we don't realize we're embracing at times. I've dedicated all these years to helping people realize their potential. And I do it in a way that can feel very tough. I'm here to get you to the next level. We're not playing games. I'm not going to give you just what you want to hear. We're going to get stuff done. But I also like to have an approach where I'm your biggest cheerleader. And it's always an honor to work with professionals at any level, whether it's entry level, CEO executives, to get them to see their career and their business for what it is. We're not playing around, we're not playing games. If we are going to remain competitive, we need to not only work hard as Latino professionals and leaders, but we need to be smart. We need to be strategic. And there's no doubt we are as hardworking and passionate as they come. No doubt there. But sometimes we're missing that little piece that can help us to get to the top, to be a key player in the world of business. I am here to do that. On a personal side, I live right outside of Atlanta, Georgia, with my wife and our beautiful son, Nicolas Alejandro, who is the ultimate Spider Man.
And I saw a picture of that. That was so amazing. Folks, leadership is not a joke. And I often caution most people that are interested in upscaling into the leadership realm to consider it before they go ahead and launch, because there are a lot of responsibilities. You're having other people's lives in your hands, and maybe not physically, like mortally, but definitely in the sense of how you impact them. And then those people have to go home, right? And so I often caution the rush to leadership, because it really is a serious business. But there is a side to leadership that often hinders companies, often hinders teams, and that is laziness. So, what is laziness in your description? And how does that differ from procrastination? Because that's a different thing.
It is. And I will tell you, I've been so fascinated by this topic that I wrote a book on it called Stop Being a Lazy Leader. And it's all about how you can step your game up. Laziness, you know, you're being lazy when you're not giving 110% of yourself. See, perfectionism tells you that you have to be perfect all the time, free from error. Some of the best leaders I know, and I'm sure that you know, make mistakes all the time, small mistakes, sometimes even big mistakes. But that's not what makes them an effective leader. It's all the other things that are in my book and that we're going to talk about today. So, laziness can be intentional, where you just give up and are okay with mediocrity, or it could be subconscious, where you have fallen off your game without even realizing it for a number of reasons. We lose our mojo as a leader. We don't feel supported. Maybe we are burnt out, whatever the case may be. It's there, and it's like a disease that gets in the way. Laziness is one thing, chasing perfectionism is another thing. I try to help folks understand how dangerous laziness can be. As you said it so beautifully, we are in charge of people's lives. We spend more time at work than we do with our families. We need for that experience to be as fulfilling as possible. As a leader, you're like a parent in a way, because these folks, your team members, your direct reports, they're looking up to you just like a child would. They're looking for guidance just like a child does. You need to have boundaries with them. You need to inspire them. All of the same strategies you would need to be an effective parent, you need to be an effective leader. And anyone who takes for granted all of that power should be ashamed of themselves and do not belong in that position. Move over, let someone else do it, because that power should never be taken for granted.
I totally agree. Now, I have mentioned procrastination because I sort of think that it's gotten a bad bum rap, that word. And by the dictionary, procrastination is an intentional delay of something for another time. The problem with procrastination is that you can go a little further and stay in that mode, and then it becomes something bad. But you mentioned something that's very critical to leaders, and it is the support of leaders. Once you get to that level in your leadership where your company no longer supports you, where you start feeling that burnout that you mentioned, you start to get this disengagement. And we are listening and hearing a lot about quiet quitting. I've seen it. I'm not going to lie and not say that I have not participated somewhere along the line of my professional career, but it is a thing.
Yeah.
People are disengaging, leaders are disengaging. But how can we tell that our leaders are disengaging from a corporate standpoint as a supervisors to key us into, hey, we may need to get in here and have a chat?
Enrique, leaders are humans. at the end of the day, just like any other person, just like any other employee. And if we really stop to pay attention to the cues, we will see when a leader is disengaged. And it's very similar to when an employee is disengaged and when a parent is disengaged from parenting, right? And so what you will see is a difference in behaviors, attitudes, communication, performance, relationships. You will see it in every single way, but you won't see it if you're not paying attention, right? So when it comes to business and organizational success, everyone depends on everyone else. It's everyone's responsibility to pay attention. Now, if there's someone in a senior role looking at a leader and trying to figure out what's going on, look at their performance first and foremost. Are they doing the bare minimum? That's a sign of laziness. Are they not going above and beyond with their staff? Or are they just letting people do everything on their own all the time? That's another sign. Are they coming in late? Are they suddenly not sharing their perspective in a meeting when you know that they used to be very active and engaged? See, that observation has to be there. You have to know even your leader well enough. So in every position, you have to know the person that you are supervising. So that leader's boss should know enough about that leader to say, oh, she's more quiet than she used to be. Oh, usually she hands projects in ahead of time, but I noticed that they're late or they're just barely on time. Oh, I know that she usually checks in with her staff and I haven't really seen her doing that. Or I know that he is usually so positive in his emails and his language is always such where he's looking for ideas and now he just seems to accept things as they are. It shows up everywhere in every aspect of a person's mindset, behavior, in their relationships, even in their non-verbal behaviors. The expression on their face. Are they looking away during the entire meeting, looking down? This is where emotional intelligence comes into play. Are you seeing this in your leader? Is the leader seeing it in their employee? But as I said, leaders are just as human as anyone else. They need support, they need encouragement, they need love, kindness, patience, flexibility. Because otherwise, as you said, this idea of quitting quietly is not only damaging for the leader, but because of their position they're in, it's damaging for any person they come in contact with directly and indirectly.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned dangers earlier, the dangers that are lurking when you're talking about laziness, especially at the leader level. So, what sort of dangers have you witnessed, or can you talk about that are waiting to happen when a leader decides to be lazy?
When the leader is lazy, the employees become lazy. Just as a child looks to the parent to see what they can get away with, now the employee is seeing, oh, wow, we don't really have to go above and beyond. Let me retreat back to a level of mediocrity that they are obviously okay with. I always say to my coaching clients, you are modeling for your direct reports what's acceptable, what is expected, what the model is for the department, for the company, for the unit. And so to me, that's really the most dangerous piece right there is that you are literally every day basically screaming to them this message of what is to be expected. And then, of course, the financial piece. When a leader is disengaged, when they've become lazy, of course, your profit is going to take on going to be impacted tremendously because it starts with the humans and then it goes to the financials. It's always going to be that way. If your folks are disengaged, your leader is disengaged, the product or service itself is going to be impacted tremendously. So it's in every single way you can imagine.
Yes, and I could see that playing out. One of the worst things that could happen is that you witness some of these indicators occur, and you, as maybe say the executives or the board or CEO, that you identify these things and you allow them to continue. So what effects can occur when you allow lazy leaders to keep leading your people?
People start quitting, they start leaving work early, they start arriving to work late, even in the virtual space. They start missing meetings. They have a form of a tantrum that we would see in the business world. It's just like a child having a tantrum. Well, now I'm not going to eat my vegetables. So now your employee is saying, I'm not going to give all of myself anymore. And you know what? Maybe I'll quit. Maybe I'll go to another unit. Maybe I'll go to another company. Maybe I will share company secrets with another organization. I mean, it's literally as though that employee is dying, to be very, very blunt. And so, again, when we start to not fully understand the power that comes with being a role model, every piece of the business is going to be affected. Just like if a parent is not well, they're not taking care of themselves, they become lazy as parents, the children are affected, the family structure is affected, the relationship is affected. It is one of the most dangerous things you could possibly see in a business.
Yeah, I agree. We just had an incident with the Department of Defense, right? A young man, for whatever reasons, took secret information and just divulged it, right? No one knows the true reason that he did that. But the thing is that some way along the line, there were signs that this was possible, and no one was looking it or looking at it. And as leaders at the executive and senior levels, we have to also be as invested in those leaders that we have working for us as we ask them to be of us. And each one take care of one, and I think that everything will
Yes,
kind of even out eventually. Now,
exactly.
self-awareness is a thing a leader needs to be and needs to have in their arsenal. When a leader identifies and recognizes that hey, I'm exhibiting some lazy behavior here. I am detached. Yeah, I don't care anymore. What do you suggest that they do next? Because they could actually be the solution to this lazy problem.
When they get to that point, Enrique, I want to first congratulate them. And if they were my coaching client, I would say, well done, because that's the first step in emotional intelligence. It's awareness. So the fact that a person can even say, you know what, I'm not with it anymore. They can have this. I don't want to develop anyone else. I don't want to monitor anyone else's behavior. I don't care. I don't care anymore. That acknowledgement is the first step. And a lot of people aren't even there to even acknowledge it and say, yes, I'm tuned out. I'm done. I'm going to congratulate them. From there, we need to go back to the basics for that person. What is your goal? And it's interesting because that's always a question I ask leaders to ask of their employees. Why are you here and what's the goal for you? Bring it back to the basics. I'll explore with that person why they're with the company. Is it the money? Is it just to have a job? If you start digging, sometimes you realize that they do enjoy their work, but maybe something at home has made them feel disillusioned. Sometimes it's a lack of support from their own leader. Sometimes it's the work itself. Maybe there was some kind of merger recently that impacted how they see the company or their work or their mission. There's so many things, but our job then, my job as a coach would be to help them dig deep. Why are you here? Why do you stay here? And what got you excited about this company and this mission and this work to begin with? If we can get to that, then we're in a much better position to help them get their mojo back. But without identifying what got them to that place, and that's going to take some work, some digging, some honesty and transparency, we can't really change the behavior. So it's acknowledging it, which is fantastic, digging deep to find out what that goal is, what brought you here, where did this all begin for you? And from there, how do we get to a place where we can get you back? Is there anything we can change or bring back mentally, situationally, organizationally to get you back to that place so that we can get you back to being laser focused to that goal. We all know that without a clear goal, we can't change any behavior. So there's that self-awareness piece.
Absolutely. Laser and not lazy. So I love
Exactly.
that. I love that. And folks, we've been talking about how do you go from a lazy leader and back into your mojo. Monica, there's been a great conversation. I know that folks have gotten some great tips of what you said. If they were already identified themselves as, hey, I'm having trouble here, and what Monica's telling me is sounding real good, and they wanted to contact you, work with you, maybe have them bring you into their corporate setting so you can speak about a couple of subjects, how would they do that?
The best place to find out more about coaching, speaking, or getting to know me in any kind of way to help you or your organization is to go to my website, monica-guzman.com. There you can find out about all the different ways I can help you in your leadership style, your behaviors, your communication, your ability to build powerful teams, my courses, my books, and anything else you might need. Monica-guzman.com.
Outstanding. Now, folks, we're going to have that as part of the video and show notes so you can get a hold of Monica. It has been such a pleasure to discuss this topic with you. As I mentioned earlier, we hardly ever hear about it or talk about it. A great way of starting our celebration of Latina leaders in our community. I couldn't have done it with a better person like you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And be sure to tune in next week for another episode where we dissect leadership from another angle. And as we like to end the show, success to you. All right, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed that conversation. It was a great time spending that that well that topic, right? That topic with Monica. She's great at what she does. So be sure to connect with her on LinkedIn, on all the platforms that she is residing in. You won't regret it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is the beginning, starting May 1st. I will be highlighting Latino leaders, Latina leaders throughout the nation, and I will be making sure that everyone gets to connect with them as well. We have a lot of influence in our community, and it is time to highlight those great individuals. Now, in March, I highlighted nothing but our female leaders and females that are doing great things in our nation. This month, I'm going to be highlighting Latinos and Latinas that are doing the same in collaboration with my brother on the West Coast, Frank Carvajal. I hope that you enjoyed this particular segment. And if you have any comments, thank you, Quentin, for joining us today. I know there were several, Edgar and Ismael, that came in and participated some and viewed, but thank you for all your support. Look out for those posts. It'll be daily, highlighting 4 great leaders throughout the month. Folks, it has been a pleasure to host this version of what we normally would do and in Aloha Friday Live. But I'm wishing everyone a great weekend. I hope that everybody has a safe and prosperous weekend, and we'll see each other on next Friday as we cover another Aloha Friday Live. Mahalo, everybody, and blessings.